Wow. What a game. One of the craziest Thursday Night Football games that you will ever witness. One of the craziest, most improbable Niners regular season wins that you will ever see. San Francisco was so injury depleted going into this game on a short week, banged up, without so many marquee players and stars, and they needed a lot to go right. They needed the ball to bounce their way. They needed to make some miraculous plays, and they did all of that. San Francisco, in thrilling fashion, on a walk-off win, fourth down stop in the red zone, able to win and stun the Los Angeles Rams 26-23. We're going to recap this game the best way that we can. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making our post-game reaction show a part of your evening, or if you're waking up with us on Friday morning, what a way to begin your Friday. Niners win this one in overtime, 26-23. And I was thinking about this game going into it this afternoon, that football is such a beautiful game, right? Even when you are very banged up, even when you don't have the talent edge, even when you are 8.5-point underdogs, if you make some clutch plays, if you execute, play fast, play aggressive, make some game-changing plays, and if you have the ball bounce your way here and there, football is so beautiful that even if that other team is healthier and a lot more talented, you can find a way to pull out a win, and that's where the saying any given Sunday comes from. And obviously in this case, we'll remember Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 as the any given Thursday win for San Francisco. And when I was thinking about this game earlier, as I just referenced that, I did a YouTube short and I posted a video on my X page and Instagram, and I posed the question: can the 49ers shock the world tonight as 8.5-point underdogs? Here's how they can do it. And I mentioned that game back in 2020 when Nick Mullins led a depleted Niners team over the Rams. And I had said that the Niners are going to need to play a near perfect football game. And this wasn't a perfect game by any means, but they played nearly flawless. They came through in some monster moments. They made some tide-changing plays. And in the clutch, they nutted up. They put their nuts on the table. And they come through with such a big Stones win. And that flight back to the Bay Area from Los Angeles is going to be oh so sweet. And NFL players will tell you, high-level college players will tell you, there's really nothing better than a flight home after a huge win. And this win was dramatic. This win was improbable. This win was stunning. And this win really changes everything for San Francisco. They are 4-1 in sole possession of first place in the NFC West. Clearly, they have a team that can compete in the NFC. They obviously need a pass rusher. They sacked Matthew Stafford on the first drive of the game. Really didn't generate a pass rush after that. And so I think they need to make a move there. But for this young Niners team, what a formidable moment and night to be able to come through and win this game when you factor in everything that went against San Francisco. The Niners in this game, think about the players who they were without, right? Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Jacob Cowing, Jordan Watkins, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Malik Mustafa. And obviously Cowing hasn't played this year. Watkins hasn't either. But Watkins was a training camp and preseason darling before his injury. But Brock Purdy is your franchise quarterback. Ricky Pearsall is your number one. Brandon Ayuk was your number one before Pearsall burst onto the scene and has been incredible to start this year. Juwan Jennings is your number two. George Kittle is your all-world tight end. Nick Bosa, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and Malik Mustafa is a starting safety. And you go on the road and you win this game, the roller coaster game that it was, all the twists and the turns, and you win it in this manner. I put together a list of everything that was crazy that transpired in this game, and this is what needed to happen for the Niners to shock the world, pull off the upset, and win a game in such dramatic fashion. Mac Jones was stellar. Kendrick Bourne balled out. Blake Corum had a fumble. The Rams missed a 51-yard field goal. Eddy Pineiro hit a 59-yard field goal. The Niners blocked an extra point, which if they didn't do that, they would have lost the game. That's what helped to force overtime. Alfred Collins, when it looked as though the Rams were going to take the lead late in the game, and Kyren Williams was on his way into the end zone, Alfred Collins punched the ball out for a miracle at the 1. Otherwise, I think the Niners lose the game. Then, in overtime, the Rams kick gives the Niners great field position. The Niners drive down the field. Their offensive line collapses once again. Mac Jones gets sacked. And so Eddy Pineiro has to kick a 40-plus yarder. He grazed it off the left upright and in. And then the Rams go down the field. And Sean McVay elects to not play for the tie. He wants to go for the win. And so the offense stays on the field for 4th down. Rams call a timeout. Rams offense comes back onto the field for that 4th down. And the Niners get a 4th down stop in the red zone for a walk-off victory as the rookie Marquis Siegel able to stuff Kyren Williams. This is something out of a movie, that type of script. That's what needed to happen in order for San Francisco to pull off this massive upset as more than touchdown underdogs. And they pull off this upset, and you saw the way that the Niners reacted, right? They act as though they won the NFC Championship game because they know how much this means. They know how much this can change a season, how much this can propel San Francisco. And when you get to 4-1, the chances of you making the postseason are great. And the Niners now have afforded themselves a lot of wiggle room and a lot of breathing room. And what's great for San Francisco is how next week shapes up. You play a banged-up Buccaneers team on the road, cross-country travel. It's no longer an early body clock game for the Niners, but you have a mini bye as well to try to rest up, get some players back. And think about what this Niners team can look like with the healthy Brock Purdy, a healthy George Kittle, a healthy Brandon Ayuk, a healthy Malik Mustafa. Once they get some players back, like a Ricky Pearsall and a Jawan Jennings. This was really an organizational win, right? For John Lynch in the front office, for the young players to make such huge plays like they did, and for the rookies to be coming along, progressing, and developing like they are, that's a win. For Kyle Shanahan to win this game in this type of situation, all things considered, that's a huge victory for him, and I thought he got a little bit conservative and nearly lost the Niners the game because of that, but he's also the reason why the Niners won this game. They were prepared, they fought hard, they executed, they built that early lead going up 20-7. And then they're able to close the game out. This is a huge win for Robert Saleh. His defense closes this out. And how about how the special teams units were able to bounce back after last week's unmitigated disaster? Brant Boyer's unit, pretty good in coverage. Eddy Pineiro, massive field goals. I can't explain how huge of a victory this is for the San Francisco 49ers because of how they won it, the way that they did it, and what this means for San Francisco the rest of the way with reinforcements coming. And you see this Niners team just went toe-to-toe with the Rams team that is one of the top teams in the NFL. And they did it with all of those aforementioned players out, with all these other players having to step up. What a collective team victory for San Francisco tonight. And one of the more thrilling wins that you will ever see. Now I have a lot more to get to here for our post-game instant reaction show. But let's get to our sponsor, our friends at Prize Picks. They have a couple of new features, and this is why they're the #1 fantasy sports app. You can win big up to 2,000 times your money. But Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just somebody whose picks you really like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Our 2-pick power play went with Christian McCaffrey more on the receiving yards. He had 82. We did go Puka Nacua more than the 97.5 receiving yards. He finished with 85. But it's as easy as that. Get your picks in less than 60 seconds. All you got to do, pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. How about Mac Jones? Mac Jones is an absolute warrior. He was banged up. He clearly wasn't 100%. He gave it his all. And he got banged up with that bulky knee brace on his left leg. Looked as though at one moment he was going to be out for the rest of the year because he was motionless on the turf after he took a big hit on a 3rd and goal. Another time in the overtime period, he had to get helped off the field, and it looked as though he was going to throw up his lunch. This guy has revitalized, revived, and saved his career. The Patriots and the Jags left him for dead. And Kyle Shanahan said, I loved him in the pre-draft in 2021. I think he's a great scheme fit for our offense. So Kyle Shanahan brings him back on a 2-year deal, less than $9 million, and he has saved the 49ers season. Mac Jones is 3-0 as a starter. Beat the Saints week 2 on the road. Not easy to do. Beat the Cardinals week 3 at home. Game-winning drive. And people were trying to tell me, look at the teams he beat. How about the team he beat tonight? One of the best defenses in the NFL. Top 10 statistically across the board. And Mac Jones goes 33 of 49 for 342 yards. 7 yards per completion. 2 touchdowns, no picks, and a rating of 100.9. The toughness that he exuded was so impressive. For him to fight this game out, massive. And he has shown that he can play well, execute the offense, look like a top-tier quarterback, and win games for San Francisco. And this is big. We're not sure how the PCL injury and the knee is going to hold up. The Niners do have that mini bye, as I mentioned, playing against the Bucs next week. But Brock Purdy, according to Ian Rappaport, re-aggravated his turf toe. He is now week to week, and he could miss multiple games. To now know, if he's healthy, that you can lean on Mac Jones, a season-saving acquisition in free agency for the Niners. If you would have had to have trotted out Joshua Dobbs or Brandon Allen, your season probably over. Niners might go 0-3 in all of those games. Instead, they go 3-0 with Mac Jones. Just an unbelievable performance. Another player who we have to give recognition to is Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne had an awful game last week. He, I think, was targeted 4 times. He had 3 drops, one of which could have gone for a touchdown. Next play, 87-yard punt return for a touchdown. Well, he responds in a big way with Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings out, and Kendrick Bourne literally had a career game. 10 receptions, 142 yards, 14.2 yards per catch. On 11 targets, he caught 10 of them, did have a drop, along at 35. That happened on the first drive of the game. And so often on third down, it was Mac Jones looking for number 84. And he played the game of his life. Christian McCaffrey continues to be one of the top receiving producers in the NFL. 8 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets. Lining up out of the slot, props to Kyle Shanahan for using him in that way. He's become a matchup nightmare. Now, of course, there are issues with the Niners. They still can't run the ball. This offensive line is garbage. They ran it 33 times for 74 yards, 2.2 yards per carry. That's a big problem. But pass game-wise, with Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and Sky Moore being your top receivers, they're able to put up 342 passing yards in this game against one of the best, finest defenses in the NFL. Jake Tonges had 7 catches for 41. Demarcus Robinson, 3 for 39. Juszczyk, 3 for 21. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 1 for 9. Luke Farrell, 1 for 8. And so against the Saints, Mac Jones found 8 different guys. Against the Cardinals, 7. And today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 different players caught a pass. 33 catches for 342 yards. Both the Niners touchdowns coming through the air for Mac Jones. And then I'm taking a look at some of my notes here. You know, on that opening drive, what a way for the Niners to start the game off. And they needed to get off to a fast start. They needed to set the tone and put the Rams in a hole. Mac Jones on the opening drive. 7 of 7, 77 yards. Found Jake Tonges for a quick trigger touchdown. And a recipe to win and pull off the upset, dominate time of possession. Keep that electric offense on the sideline. Make that statement early, as I just mentioned. The Niners won time of possession in that first quarter, 11:50 to 3:10. That's the type of formula if you want to pull off an upset as 8.5-point underdogs. And I loved how Kyle Shanahan was aggressive early on, how he was playing to win, went for it on a couple of fourth downs. He was very creative. He made a statement. He goes up against Sean McVay, and he's pulling out all types of wrinkles, whether it be window dressing pre-snap, passing plays downfield. He coached an awesome game. Now, as much as I loved him being aggressive, I hated how conservative he got, and he always seems to do that when he gets a big lead, and that's why he's lost so many big leads. Most blown double-digit second-half leads since 2017, playoffs included. Colts with 12, Ravens with 11, Niners with 10. But this one, he won, and he won it in overtime. That PAT block, by the way, which helped to save the game for the Niners, blocked by Jordan Elliott. It would have been 21-20 if that didn't happen. That's ball game right there. Eddy Pineiro, so clutch. Alfred Collins, the miracle at the 1-yard line. Looked like Kyron Williams was just going to go right into the end zone. Big number 95 with the peanut punch there, and he recovered it. I mean, for a rookie to make that play, and he did it while stepping in for Kalia Davis, who got hurt and looked like he broke his hand, out for the rest of the game. He got more snaps, took advantage of those ops, and boy, did he impress. I'm just so impressed with how San Francisco was able to nut up and win that football game. See if we have any other updates. Niners are 4-1 in the NFC West. Seahawks 3-1 going into this weekend. Rams 3-2. Cardinals 2-2. To see also how pumped up Jed York was, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, you can tell how much it meant to them. Shanahan on Purdy, he re-aggravated it. He's week to week. Don't know how it will heal. Hopefully Mac Jones can heal. Again, the 142 receiving yards for Kendrick Bourne, a career high. Kyle Shanahan on Mac Jones. He played his ass off. Was unbelievable in the first half. Got banged up in the second half. Battled through it. Protected the ball going against that defense. Throwing the ball that many times without having a turnover. I can't say enough good things about Mac. There was a slight adjustment too. After Mac got hurt, his time to throw went from 2.77 seconds before the injury to 2.44 after that. They made it a point to get rid of the ball quickly. And that's how you negate a good front. Now, the Rams' defensive line is so good, they still got pressure on Mac. But that's a good in-game adjustment. Christian McCaffrey played 75 snaps in this game on a short week. Tied for the second most of his career. As far as Mac Jones' injury, tweaked his knee again. Forearm was cramping up in the fourth quarter. That's why they were working on his throwing arm. Shanahan called this Niners team unbelievable and spent most of the postgame press conference praising this team. How about the Niners in a hybrid reset rebuild being 4-1 to start the year, and 3 of those wins are with your backup quarterback? You'll take that. You'll take that. QB since 1950 to win their first 3 starts with the team while throwing for 900 yards and 6 tutties. Mac Jones with the Niners in 2025. Matthew Stafford with the Rams in 2021. Just a crazy, crazy victory. All right, if you're pumped up about that Niners win, type SF in the chat. Thanks for watching our post-game instant reaction, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button.